A lot of startups are trying to be bigger than they are, which is totally understandable. But a lot of times they are trying to launch these huge campaigns, and then that instantly burns cash because people aren't going to connect with your brand as much as they would if you had those basics down.
Today's guest is Patrika. She helps founders grow without wasting cash. So, what's the most common way that you see startups burning cash chasing growth?
So I believe that a lot of startups are trying to be bigger than they are a lot of times,
Yeah.
which is totally understandable. You want to appear as this massive brand. But a lot of times they are trying to launch these huge campaigns without having the basics down first.
Mhm.
So some of the most important things are making sure that you have a solid brand, knowing what your brand stands for, knowing what your brand is about, and who your founder is and what your founder stands for. Those are areas that a lot of times startups are jumping into these huge marketing campaigns and huge ad campaigns without having those basics established. And then that instantly burns cash because people aren't going to connect with your brand as much as they would if you had those basics down.
So, you're talking about values, right? Founder values and then brand values.
Yes,
It's almost we also need to have our values down before we do other things. And
exactly.
especially for startups, it helps people resonate and attract the right people.
Yes.
So, you left corporate roles to carve out your own path. What moment made you realize traditional growth advice doesn't work for most founders?
I saw myself climbing the corporate ladder when I was going through college. I realized that was what I wanted to do. But getting into the corporate world, I realized there was a lot of the sentiment, we've never done it this way before. And there are so many times where just because you're a large corporation, you get stuck in those, we have to do it the way we've always done it. I realized that wasn't a good fit for my personality. And I think a lot of founders come to that same conclusion, knowing that they want to try something different. They want to break the mold. It's intimidating, but for founders, it's important. I think that's one of the amazing opportunities founders have to take that step back, find a new way
Mhm.
to do something innovative and exciting. That's what stands out in the market.
Definitely. What's one lesson you carry from your corporate world to what?
The value of process is no matter what you're building, process
Mhm.
matters, and starting
Yeah.
process from the beginning really does help establish you for scalability. All of the mentors that I've had the privilege of working with have always taught me that. And I've noticed it in my own life. When you build a process, you can scale. Starting that from the beginning is really important.
Definitely. So you've spoken about making even boring products stand out. What's the secret that most founders miss?
I think remembering that the person on the other side of the ad, the person on the other side of your talk at an event, they are just that. They're a person and they have needs, they have wants, they have desires, they have problems. And a lot of times we focus so much on how cool our product is, or even if it's a boring product, the functionality of it, knowing that you could code something in X amount of time or things like that. When in reality, that person just wants their problem solved. If your product fixes that, then tell them that, show them that, and remember that ultimately that person is just a human being that has needs and needs those things addressed.
Do you have a case study where you use this tactic?
Absolutely. I was working with a legal tech product in
Hmm.
the past, and we were going to be attending a financial services conference. And that is not a super exciting topic. So people were sitting in these very long, very necessary, but boring sessions. We brought a food truck with funnel cake, fried Oreos, like all these carnival foods, and stationed it
Hmm.
right outside of the conference. And I actually took one of the funnel cakes and just started walking through the event hall with it. And people were like, where did you get that? I saw people's eyes coming alive because they'd been sitting in sessions about compliance and all these things that are just super draining, obviously very
Yeah.
necessary, but super boring. And nobody wants to hear about streamlining processes, but they do want funnel cake because that's exciting and fun. It stood out
Yeah.
because who wants to be in a session when you could be outside eating a funnel cake? So it was just something that we took to connect with that person, bring out their inner kid, just something to have a little bit of fun during a conference that wasn't necessarily fun. And it was a huge success.
That's excellent. Leaning towards more human connection over professionalism. So, why do you think creators often grow audiences faster than startups?
Because of that human connection. When you're a brand is hiding the people behind it a lot of times. And when you have a person telling you about their day or lifestyle, you can connect with that a lot easier than thinking about just a brand that's just showing you product images. Product images are necessary, but I don't connect with my water bottle in the same way that I connect with the person that I'm talking to on the screen right now. So When a creator is showcasing who they are and their values, they are able to tell a story that resonates with an audience. And brands have the opportunity to do the same thing. They just have to take it from that approach versus just showing, here's our product, here's our service, and talk about how that actually helps the human.
Definitely. Would you say that brands always have to have their founders up front as like a founder creator? Or would you say that it's okay if it's like they hire someone to be a creator for them?
I think it can go either way. I think there is a lot of value in that founder being visible because people more than ever care about who's behind the products they're purchasing or the services they're supporting. Sometimes people are shy and don't want to put themselves out there. Totally understand that, and that's totally valid. But I think having a face to a brand is really helpful for connecting with people. Not to say it can't be done without it, but I think that's one way to really jump ahead when you're trying to build something new to the market.
If you had to choose K in ad spend or 10K loyal followers, which wins and why?
Oh, that's a good question. I would go with the loyal followers because there's so much value in creating brand advocates from people you are already connected with. Retention is always less expensive than acquisition in the long run. I believe in building, maintaining, and empowering that audience to advocate for you.
Why do you think so many founders hide behind their product instead of building their own personal brand?
It's scary to put yourself out there because if a product or a brand fails, you can separate it from your personal self. There's a notion of fail fast and fail often that founders are scared of. Rightfully, it's terrifying, but there is a lot of value to that. When people see that you're trying, a lot of people are inspired by that. So I think as a founder, it's scary to put yourself out there because you might experience rejection. In the long run, there's value in it.
You have to get over that fear of failure first, and then you can do it.
There's so many people that have failed before you. You're not the first. So I try to remind myself of that on a regular basis.
Yeah, definitely. So many founders I've had on here, they've all failed before they succeeded. They're very
Definitely.
open about it. You can see on their LinkedIn. It's awesome because it really humanizes them.
Yes, completely agree.
So you have a background in sustainable tourism. How did that teach you to spot when growth strategies are actually destroying long-term value?
A great question. Studying what makes sustainable tourism, I realized it was more than I thought. I thought it was just about the ecological impact, talking about how many trees did you kill by flying, but there's also community impact, an extremely important aspect. Thinking about how your brand impacts communities is really important in the long run. If you donate proceeds back to the community or empower people who don't have that same opportunity, there are ways to offset some of the impacts of using certain technologies or energy to build a product. Are you paying your people well? Are you contributing to society by hiring and empowering people? The main purpose is not to get caught up on one specific aspect of sustainability or contributing to society. Look at it as a whole creative. Contribute where you can, grow, and hopefully contribute to more areas.
Definitely. Both the internal community inside your startup and external as well.
Absolutely.
If you could hand a founder a creator-led growth playbook, what would be in the first 3 rules?
Number one, believe in and own what you're doing. You have to go all in if you fail, but go all in because hesitating is when the cracks start. Number two, build a founder brand. I think that having that founder brand is vital to really connecting with audiences. And if you don't want to do the founder brand, then having some type of face to your brand. It helps connect with your audience and build loyalty. Always build for the human. So at the end of the day, no matter what that human's job title is, they are a human and it is important to solve that person's problem. And no matter what you build, whether it's big or small, whether it's complex or simple, it's hopefully solving a problem for that person. And that's what they're going to buy. They're going to buy that problem solver.
Definitely. Because right now with AI, we all have the ability to just create a ton of products.
Absolutely.
So, what's the biggest fear that holds founders back from trying a creator-led growth strategy?
A lot of it is being attached to failure. You don't want your name to come up on Google as a failed product founder. And I think it's a lot of anxiety around that. Personally, I'm like, that's so scary. But if you've tried, you've done something millions haven't. If you learn from your mistakes, then it's okay to be a 3 times founder with only one success. You know, that one success wouldn't have been there if you didn't start those other two. I think it's not just fear of failure, it's fear of having your name attached to a failure, which is valid, but I think it's worth moving past to get to your goal.
Yeah, definitely. I remember having an A16Z founder on the pod, and he was talking about when he faces failure, he creates a system that enables him to not fail in that way again. I've been using that approach and it really works because you're just building a system. You're getting better every time and you don't internalize that failure. If you had to bet your own money, what's the one growth strategy that will separate winners from losers in the next 3 years?
I think it's going to be personality beyond AI, because people are getting excited about AI, and rightfully. It's incredible. Since I started in 2018, the AI landscape, and just to see how much has happened is truly mind-blowing. But I think we're going to go so far into AI that I think people are going to pull back and look for the humans again. When people learn to build that combination of being AI forward, where you can use the technology, but at the end of the day, you're still connecting with the person. I think that's really going to have a powerful impact in the next 3 years.
Hone in on your AI skills and your human skills.
Absolutely, yes. So that's what people want.
Thank you so much, Patrika, for coming on the pod and sharing your insights.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.